welcome to Cult Classic Society. I'm Bobby Davies, joined by my pal Tim Martini. But who are you expecting? The Easter Bunny?
I mean, we're way too out of season for that anyway, Bobby, you know?
It's a line from the movie we're doing. And on top of that, you said, oh, what are you doing for the intro? You're going to mention me stealing your gimmick? Yes, I'm going to mention you stealing my gimmick again, you son of a bitch.
It's like, and now the Purpose t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm not only gimmick infringement. I'm actually gonna look into is this identity theft? What's going on? You wearing a Purpose Wrestling t-shirt? You wearing a hat? That's kind of my thing.
Soon I'll have a Mighty Ducks jersey in the background.
No, I'm watching you, Martini. How you doing, friend?
Yeah, and I'm doing really good. I mean, summer's over, so, I mean, we didn't really have a summer, but you know what I mean.
Oh, we did. We had like 6 hot days spread out over 4 months. Woo!
Yeah. I mean, that's a new record for England, to be honest.
No. Summer 2020 was beautiful.
We were all inside for it, though.
I've got a garden. I won't. It's not inside. I was outside from May through till the end of August. It was stunning.
Okay, show off. Okay.
Been up to much, Tim?
Not really. Just obviously a lot of catching up on movies and video games now. Wukong, Black Myth Wukong's been a big one I've been playing.
Nice.
Chinese mythology game.
Yeah, I've seen that's doing really well. I've seen that it's quite popular. Well,
yes.
Don't tell David Francisco this, but for about 4 years he's been saying, you should watch Randy Feltface, you'll like Randy Feltface. And I've watched loads of Randy Feltface. So you know what? I do like Randy Feltface, but don't tell David Francisco. So if I start, my head starts going like this, then drag it along the bottom. That's where it's going from. Right.
Keely, for the love of God, just mute this part of the episode.
Right, we're going to talk about 1996 classic Space Jam, Tim. Space Jam. Space Jam. Yes, you're quite right. I did mention at the end of the last episode that I still own my original VHS of this. I went looking for it. I believe it to be at my mother's house, and I have not been there this week. So if I find it, I will post it on the socials. But don't hold your breath. If you know what, Tim's actually sent me just a JPEG in our WhatsApp group of the cover of the VHS. So we'll pop it in the edit now. Which side are you on, Tim? That side, right?
I think I'm on the right.
I don't know. Either way. So, Space Jam, released in 1996, directed by Joe Pictor. But there is some controversy around that because many have said who are involved in it that Ivan Reitman, who is credited as the producer, actually did most of the directing.
Yes.
And he is pissed off that Pictor gets the directing credit. So, think of who you want as the director and pick one of them. Apparently one of them did the animation side, one of them did the live action side.
I think Ivan did the animation side because everything I heard about Joe with the animation side, he was a complete idiot.
See, Joe Pictor, before this, he directed an award-winning music video for the Beatles that's very impressive for the time. 94 or 95 it came out. It was an unreleased Beatles song. He put together this crazy video that's got like young and old footage of them blended together. And it looks really decent, especially for the time. Yeah. So I wouldn't take anything away from Pictor as a director, but it does sound like Ivan Reitman may have done more because more of it is in the animated side.
Yeah, but one of the stories I heard about the direction was he had for mocap for Tweety, he had a person in a suit walk in front of Michael and then wanted basically it to be animated Tweety, and the animator kept trying to explain to him, if you do that, we will not be able to see Michael because the person blocking him. And he kept going, but no, the green screen.
But he didn't know what it was though, clearly, You need a fucking tennis ball for that shit.
Exactly.
The concept for this movie originated from a series of adverts that were done with Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan, ads for the Air Jordan shoes. and they were called Hair Jordan, and Aerospace Jordan. Which you know what? One thing I didn't do was go and find these adverts. Probably should have done that.
I've watched a couple. They're pretty cool. I mean, I think at the time it would be more like, oh my god, because obviously watched Space Jam before I watched those ads.
Nice. I'll have to seek them out. I do like extra content, but it's not my job when it's my episode to do extra credit. It's yours. This is a good thing about this. I was shocked about this until 2021. The original 96 website for Space Jam was still there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it only got changed when the second Space Jam movie, A New Legacy, got announced.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna dive deep into this movie. I got loads more facts for you, Tim. I've done some fact hunting, and by fact
Can't wait
hunting,
to hear
I
it.
mean I've read the trivia section on IMDb. We start with little 10-year-old-ish MJ playing basketball in his backyard, and we hear redacted. If anyone listening, watching this knows anything about this movie, you know what song is most closely associated with this movie. You know who sang that song. Just, we don't want to talk about it. Imagine, if you will, and if you know the version, in this, have in your head, like a headcanon edit, that it's the Me First and the Gimme Gimme's version of the song. Mike's dad comes out and he says, "Hey, it's getting late, sunshine, you better go to bed." And he says, "One more shot, Dad," and he shoots. And he goes, "Oh, that's pretty impressive, shoot till you miss." And he basically just keeps going and doesn't miss, and his dad's like, "Okay, we have to go in." We hear about Michael's dreams to go to college and then play in the NBA, and then he wants to retire and play baseball like his dad, which is very cute. And then we get a really great slow-mo intercut of MJ doing his thing. Opening credits is just MJ playing basketball with some big old title saying Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny. But you know how I feel about starting credits, don't you, Tim?
You're not really the biggest fan, are you?
I fucking hate them. If anyone is interested in who stars in the movie, they'll wait till the end. I swear, 85% of cinema goers are not that interested.
Yeah, it's true.
So, forcing your credits on them at the beginning, it feels involuntary.
But can we say we have a fantastic song at the start with that then? With the title sequence.
I was gonna save it to the end, but I'm gonna talk about the soundtrack for this movie because it fucking slaps. But that's Welcome to the Jam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jam, fucking banging song.
Come on and slam. And welcome to the jam.
Love it. We come back after the credits, and MJ is retiring from basketball. He's like, "I'm going to go play professional baseball." And I was like, "Hey, fucking ego much? It's a different sport, brother. Just because you're a professional basketball player, don't mean you can just go jump in and play the most boring sport in the world at a professional level."
I mean, NFL players for the WWE.
Yeah, at least they have to go through fucking NXT first and train. He's just being like, "I'm going to go play pro baseball," which actually, if you do any research, the Barons he ends up playing for in this, they're actually they're not part of Major League Baseball. They're part of the tier below that.
Okay.
Yeah, which any Americans could point out what that actually is. I cannot remember. It's a bit like
minor league baseball.
Yeah, it might be actually. You might be right, but it's also what Gordon Bombay does in Ducks, isn't it? He goes and plays minor league hockey, which is the secondary league that kind of feeds into the NHL. We jump to Moron Mountain. I love the animation here. I think it's cool as fuck. And it holds up now, I think.
I think the 3D animation doesn't when you see Moron Mountain all in its 3D glory. I think that doesn't hold up. But the 2D animation of all the characters, that's spectacular.
Yeah, I love it. We get a little Easter egg here. When they're flying towards Moron Mountain, you actually see the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey in the background. Top right corner. Wow. See it? Hidden there. A teenage alien is saying that Moron Mountain fucking sucks.
We didn't use that exact verbiage, but...
No, but I want to see the version of the movie where he does. And we meet... I think his name's...
Swackhammer.
Swackhammer, yeah. I've written it Slackhammer later on. I'm like, it's Swackhammer, is it, with a W? Who voices Swackhammer, Tim?
Danny DeVito.
The fucking legend that is Danny DeVito. Being the garbage man and starting blasting and being a penguin. Most of my references to Danny DeVito are going to be Always Sunny because I just love Always Sunny. Now,
Who doesn't though?
Now, the little aliens we meet here, his little lackeys, they're actually called the Nerdlucks, which does not get mentioned in this movie, but it is mentioned in other material. And they've all actually got individual names, which we also don't get told in the movie.
Yeah, I just wrote about them by their corresponding colours.
Yeah, I wrote... So, my notes in general have the colours, but I found their names and added them right here to my notes, just so we can say them at least once. Their names are Pound, who's the orange one, Bang, who's the green one, Naught, who is the magenta one, Bupkis, who's the purple one, and then Blanco, who is the blue one. Yeah, and the word Nerdluck isn't mentioned here, but it does. There's apparently, and I've not found it, there's a crossover with Teen Titans Go.
Yes, I was going to mention this. Where
they do mention the word Nerdluck. Yeah, did you watch it?
So I've watched clips of it. It's not a crossover. It's them watching the movie, doing commentary on it.
Oh, really?
And they'll like pause the movie at points to like draw over the characters as well.
Oh, amazing! I need to find that as well. Swackhammer wants some new attractions for the park. He wants something crazy, something wacky, and then one of the Nerdlucks goes something loony, and he's like, yes. And they turn around and on the TV are the fucking Looney Tunes. And Swackhammer wants them. And if they don't want to come, what are they going to do?
Make them.
At the baseball game, MJ fucking sucks. And everyone's been really nice to him. The backstop, who's technically on the other side, is telling him what the plays are going to be because he autographed a basketball for his son, and yet he still fucks it up. We meet Stan Podolak, played by the awesome Wayne Knight.
Yes,
I love Wayne Knight
from the Sun.
Jurassic Park. And he is just a suck up who works for the baseball team, and he has basically made MJ's personal assistant.
I was going to say, one of my favourite things is like when Michael comes back to the bench, I was like, the way he felt that ball, I could have felt it like that. It was really good feeling the ball like that.
Yeah. When I strike out, it looks crappy, but when you strike out, you look good striking out, Michael. Well, I mean, he's a handsome man, but I don't know if that counts.
Exactly.
As they're all chatting away in the dugout, like you said, that bit, a spaceship flies over, a cartoon spaceship, and it kind of whooshes over. They all look up a bit. Flies over. We cut it. It flies over the top of a supermarket and then like into the parking lot ground, and we see it like pierce through. And it's the Nerdlucks flying. It looks a bit like an old school kind of 1950s car with no wheels.
Yeah.
And as they're drilling through, they hit the Warner Brothers logo, and it like bounces and stretches like boing and pierces through. And we end up in, I don't know, does it have a real name? The Looney Tune Land.
Yeah, that's why it's called it.
Elmer Fudd is hunting Bugs Bunny, and Bugs breaks the fourth wall. He's like, we'll be with you in a minute, guys. The Nerdlucks land and open up their ship on top of Elmer's head. And they come down and they're like fucking knee height on Bugs.
Yeah.
And they say they're looking for him. And Bugs describes himself to a T. Is he this high with long ears? And does he say, what's up, Doc? And they go, yeah. And he's like, I've never heard of it. And as he walks away, he talks to the camera, breaking that fourth wall again, and says, it appears there is no intelligent life out there after all. And as he's trying to walk away, they fucking shoot him and say they're not that stupid. He tells them to gather all the tunes.
Did you recognise who voices Bugs?
So, literally my next set of notes is on all the voice actors here. So, they wanted Noel Blanc, who is the son of Mel Blanc, who's gave Bugs Bunny his original voice. But they couldn't agree on a contract. So, they got another big voice actor in. Go on, who is it? I'll let you say it. You look like you really wanted that moment.
It's Billy West. It's Fry himself.
It's Philip J. Fry. Yes. And he also does Elmer Fudd in this. So that scene that he was just doing was just him and himself.
He does a really good Bugs.
Yeah, it does. There's a really great Nevermind the Buzzcocks episode that's got Harry Shearer on it.
Oh, okay.
And he talks about who he voices, and he says, "Oh, I'm Burns and I'm Smithers." And like, "Oh, wait, so you're just talking to yourself there?" And he does Burns like, "Yes, he is." And he's Smithers. He's like, "Yes, I am." Another Futurama actor plays a character we're going to meet soon. Kathy Soyce voices Lola Bunny, as she voices Cubert Farnsworth in Futurama. So he's the clone, isn't he? He's not even really his son. He's like Bradley Baker voices Daffy and Taz. He's Klaus in American Dad.
Yes.
Bob Bergen is Porky, Tweety, and Marvin, and a bunch of others. And he's the regular voice for Porky Pig, which I don't think he was at the time. Bill Farmer is Yosemite Sam, Foghorn Leghorn, Sylvester the Cat. He's also currently the voice of Goofy and Pluto for Disney. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
And then there's loads of other people doing like one-off single voices for different characters. Yeah. I'm not listing all them. We'll be here all fucking day. Stan drops MJ off at his house. Now, this house is a nice place. It's a nice, all-American, bigger, but not super big home. MJ lives in a fucking mansion.
Yeah, but they had to make him look humble in this movie.
Yeah. If anyone's watched the Jordan documentary or the Chicago Bulls documentary, you know that MJ lives in a fucking, just a massive mansion.
And that he takes everything personally.
Yes. Let's not talk about that. I like to imagine this is the real Michael Jordan. MJ's dog, Charles, who's apparently named in real life after Charles Barkley, who is one of the players we meet later, runs from his kennel, jumps all over MJ and slobbers on him. Then his wife and kids arrive, and one of his kids isn't happy because he had a bad baseball game. Oh.
We so did Michael.
Yes, and yeah, they bond over their shitness at baseball. Now, another interesting fact for you, the kids here, the 3 kids are named after Michael's real kids. But they're not played by his real kids, they're actors.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Michael's acting in this movie?
I was going to leave it for more of a roundup at the end.
Okay.
Because I think when he gets to deliver one-off lines with the tunes, he's fine. Yeah. But when he has to do any extended dialogue, he does struggle.
It's really bad when you place him against actual actors and you just realise, he does not know how to act.
It's way less jarring when he's doing it with a Looney Tune.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. Michael says he sucked today, and then the news agrees with him, which is great. And I thought this was really funny. His kid, who's come home and went, "Oh man, I was shit at baseball today," comes home and gives his dad advice on playing baseball.
Yeah.
And his dad's in like the minor leagues. Michael says, "We're not watching this news anymore." And he puts on the Looney Tunes, does a little Roadrunner impression and walks off. Now, we have a great little moment here, which I always remember this scene as a kid. But Wile E. Coyote has got a massive anvil and he's on like a tightrope. Roadrunner's just stood there and Porky Pig comes along doing his like, guys, we got a meeting to go to. Big Looney Tune meeting. And then Roadrunner runs off, Porky runs off, and Wile E. puts down his weight and he gets fucking launched into the air. I had, and I don't think I've still got this one, I had a double VHS set. So, did you ever see you probably don't have as much hands-on experience with VHSs as I did. I feel like by the time you're wary enough, like DVDs were more of a thing.
Bugs Bunny Roadrunner VHS.
So I had a couple of double ones. So the case was double wide.
Was it the Golden Collection?
Yeah, and there was more than one of them. There was like 3 volumes.
I've got one of them on DVD somewhere. Volume 4.
And they used to be, right up till probably I was 15 or so, one of my kind of, if I need to turn my brain off, I just have something playing in the background.
Yeah.
It'll quite often just be Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah, that's always been what it is for me. Because I had the volume 4, the classic collection. So it was like 4 discs. One was Bugs Bunny exclusive. The second one was Daffy and Porky Pig because they used to always cross over with each other.
Yeah.
And 3 and 4 were just like random assortment ones. In fact, it had one of the original Bugs Bunny Elmer cartoons. Do you remember like the big Chungus meme of Bugs Bunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had that episode in it.
Oh man, I think I have seen it. The ones that were my favourite were always Wile E. and Roadrunner, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love all the silly slapstick, the Acme stuff. Like no talking. You didn't need to talk to portray that like this story.
Oh, so you haven't seen the Bugs Bunny Wile E. Coyote cartoon where Wile E. Coyote actually talks?
No, I don't think I want to.
It's really weird because he's going, "I'm a super genius."
Yeah, so he understands how to wire up dynamite. He just can't time it right.
Yeah.
What we cut to the meeting. What I love about it is Wiley crashes through the ceiling, like a new scene, and then Wiley's apparently been launched into space and lands in the exact place he needs to be, which is such a cartoon thing.
Can we also then point out that because that happens in the episode, the screen just stays still on like the elastic band, and Michael's kids go, "Where did they go?"
Yeah, where have they gone? And it's literally just that kind of very flat Looney Tunes background that they use.
But then that implies every episode she watches of Looney Tunes in this universe is live.
Oh yeah, they're acting it out. That's how it works.
But what about the DVDs? Do they make clones of themselves? There's so much implication here.
No, I feel like if you purchase a home video version, that is just the recording of the live version.
But then
Okay,
what about
Tim?
syndication? They're like reruns.
Oh, the reruns are recordings. Come on, Tim, get it together. That was just the debut of whatever that cartoon was. They happened to be watching it.
It was the 90s. There was no new Looney Tunes.
Tim, don't question everything. Daffy shows up in a towel. He doesn't ask anyone to speak up because he's wearing it. And he is very angry that his bath time got interrupted. The Nerdlucks have Bugs chained up.
Yeah.
And they're saying the Tunes are their prisoners and no one takes them seriously.
They just start
Yes,
laughing immediately.
Yosemite Sam draws his pistols on them and they zap him with their lasers. And he's like, okay, yeah. And they all of a sudden are taken very seriously. Now, Bugs, in classic Bugs Bunny style, I think this is very apt for the kind of cartoons he wants. He just kind of wriggles himself out of the chains and then undoes his ears. He's like, yeah, they didn't really have me. And he pulls out this book, and it's a guide on how to draw cartoons, except he's rubbed out or crossed out the word draw and put capture. And he's written some rules in, which is that they have to give them a chance to
It's
gain
literally
their
on
freedom.
a post-it note in the book.
Yeah. And he says it's in the rules, and one of the little nerds like, it is in the rule book. The Tunes have a bit of a sidebar about what to do. And Porky suggests a spelling bee, Elmer suggests a bowling competition.
Did you did you notice a reference at the start of that little sequence when they're backstage, when Bugs is in front of the American flag?
I didn't know. What was it?
It's a reference to the movie Patton, about General Patton.
I don't think I've seen the movie. In fact, I know I haven't seen the movie.
I haven't seen it either, but it's an iconic shot that's like always like shown about like classic movies. That's like one of these shots where they're like strategizing.
Oh, well, I'll have to check that out. I do sometimes. I don't know if you've ever done this as a fellow nerd. Have you ever just gone on YouTube and been like movie references in other things? Like, say, like Simpsons, there's like hundreds of videos of movies.
Oh, I always do with
referencing the
Simpsons because I'm always like, what are they referencing?
Yeah, is it Mojo do a lot of Simpsons content.
Oh yeah.
And Sylvester's choice for what to challenge them to is essentially catching Tweety. And he gets a bit off track and he gets a bit guttural. Did you catch what Bugs calls him here, though? Which I thought was quite funny.
No, what is it called?
He calls him Sly. Because obviously, Sylvester Stallone, everyone calls him Sly. And he's Sylvester the cat, so he calls him Sly.
You know what's funny? I literally wrote in my notes, Sly talks about kidnapping Tweety.
Now, that is what Bugs calls it him right then.
Yeah.
They analyse the aliens and essentially go, well, they're short asses. Let's play basketball. Bugs shows the aliens this basketball documentary, which is from like the 1950s. It's like very old-timey, black and white, and it's very in a high-pitched voice, like a radio voice. There's an interesting fact for you, actually. I wasn't going to throw this in, but I've just remembered this from QI, and I love QI. The reason all those old-timey TV shows and radio sound like that is because old microphones weren't very good at capturing bass.
Oh,
So why everyone sounds like they're up here talking is because there's no fucking bass in it.
that's insane.
When this is being, it's like being shown in a cinema type thing, and Foghorn Leghorn walks out at the front, and this random dog, who is, I think he is a Looney Tune, but he's one of the less used ones, throws a big bucket of popcorn at him, just fucking takes him out.
Does he say down in front as well?
Yeah,
Like,
down in front, and smashes him in the face. We cut to a basketball game at Madison Square Garden. There's a couple of great little things in this scene. I love this scene.
Oh yeah,
The Nerdlucks are in disguise. Do you realise what the disguise is they're in?
it's a trench coat, right?
And there's something else. Oh, there's two other things. It's a
The
trench
others?
coat. It's a big hat, big rimmed hat, and a long coloured scarf. They're dressed as the Fourth Doctor.
You know what? I never made the correlation.
I obviously I was a big Space Jam fan as a kid, not a big Doctor Who fan. That was later on, and it was only in a rewatch about 2 years ago of Space Jam that I noticed. Like, that's the fucking Fourth Doctor. And then actually in my research for this, looking at the IMDb, it's mentioned like 4 times by 4 different people going, "Hey, dressed as the Fourth Doctor." But some of them are like they're wearing his scarf, but if you go look at it, they are wearing a brimmed hat and a brown jacket.
Yeah.
They are dressed as the Fourth Doctor. There is a couple sitting next to the Nerdlucks,
Yeah.
and they're like, she's noticing, and their little hands come out and pull the jacket
Yes.
closer. Did you notice who the couple were?
I recognise the guy. It's Dan Castellaneta.
It is Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson, and the woman is Patricia Heaton, who's another actress. Dan says, "Barkley is killing us," and the Nerdlucks are like, "Oh, someone's killing someone. I want to see." They're like, "I want the killer. I'm going to go get him." And it's the orange Nerdluck. Kind of, he turns into like an amorphous blob and starts like slipping along the floor. Really reminded me of the Master from the '96 Doctor Who movie.
Oh, yeah, that's actually
They
that's
literally do
actually
the
the most apt one.
They literally do the same thing. He turns into like a slimy snake and it inhabits people's bodies. So whoever wrote this scene anyway was a Doctor Who fan, I think. The best people are Tim. When he takes, like, Charles starts like flailing his body, and then the slime returns back and they touch a basketball that they've got and it starts glowing orange. And Charles Barkley starts playing like shit. And they've stolen his talent. They also then steal Patrick Ewing. And we don't see everyone else's like getting stolen. Obviously, that would be quite a long scene if we saw all 5 of them. But we do get a cut to like a news program. And it shows you one of the guys, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues. I can't know if that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
They call him Muggsy. Oh, you see him like getting the jitters. He's the short guy.
Yes.
And they also steal Larry Johnson and Sean Bradley's talent. We do see all 5 of these guys later, but we don't see it getting stolen at this time. MJ's in a hotel watching that news. Stan comes to collect him. And he does something really funny here. He reels off all of Michael's sponsors.
I got a quote.
Oh, so have I, but go on, I'll let you have this one.
Come on, Michael, it's game time. Get your hands on. Light up your Nikes. Grab your Wheaties and your Gatorade. And we'll pick up a Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
Oh, man, there's no wonder that he is like the richest sportsman ever.
Yeah.
Like, some of those companies are ridiculous.
Especially like Nike and like McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, the biggest fast food franchise and the biggest the biggest sports apparel franchise.
Yeah.
The Lakers refuse to play basketball as they fear a contamination. And like, well, get changed out in the hall because they think it's the locker room, and they all put on gas masks. We jump back to Toonland, and Daffy is mostly concerned about what they're going to wear. And he wants to wear purple and gold. And I was surprised that in the IMDb, anyway, I didn't see it. I mean, there's a lot in the IMDb, and I don't think I read everything. But no one said, well, yeah, that's what the Lakers wear. Their colours are purple and gold. Anyway, the Nerdlucks want the court, and the Tunes are like, oh yeah, you need it. You know, you need to practice it. They were still little.
Yeah, still tiny.
And they get their glowing ball out and all touch it. and they all fucking transform into these hulking monstars, if you will.
Monstars. They're monsters. They're superstars. They're monsters.
I love how the Toons are the ones who gave them their name.
I would say that the transformation sequence is like embedded in my mind.
Yeah, like the camera goes around them, doesn't it? And they like start literally like the Incredible Hulk. They start like bulging muscles and stuff. And I'd say I love the design of the little nerdlucks, but I do love the design of the monstars as well.
Oh, the monsters are cool.
And what's actually quite cool, a lot of them take small elements from the people they've taken the powers from. So, like the tallest one, the blue one, he's taking his things from like Larry Johnson. You can tell that's him.
Yeah.
The shortest one you could tell is Muggsy. The others are a bit hard to tell, like especially the orange one is fat, and none of them are fat. Like, but
he's also the most aggressive on the court, so he has like that killer instinct.
Yeah. So the other three, they're kind of some people who are bigger fans of basketball may be able to tell you, but the other three players are similar in stature.
Yeah.
Like height and muscle build and stuff. So I don't know whether they are meant to be specific ones, but the only two that are definitely specific are the red guy being Muggsy and the blue guy being Larry Johnson.
Yeah.
The others I'm not so sure. We jump to the golf course. Oh, sorry, before that, Bugs does another fourth wall break saying they might need a little bit of help.
Yes.
We jump to the golf course and we see MJ is playing golf with Bill Murray and Larry Bird. Larry's another former basketball player.
I think he was a member of the Chicago Bulls, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'm not a huge, I do like basketball. I think it's a good sport. But I follow football, as in what Americans would call soccer here. I follow ice hockey, and there's not much more room in my day for following more sport.
Yeah, he was. Just researched it, Ness.
What's shocking is apparently Bill Murray's over 6 foot.
No.
Yeah, but MJ is 6'6", and Larry Bird, I think he's 6'8".
Yeah.
And I think that's what he said. I'm sure I saw something along those lines anyway, and they make him look so short.
Yeah.
Bill says that because of what's happening with the NBA, they're going to need new players. And does he reckon MJ thinks he has a shot? And Bill asks, is it because he's white? And he's like, no, Larry's white. And he says, no, he isn't. Larry's clear. And I still don't know what that means. After watching this movie for nearly 30 years, I do not know what that means.
I think he's so white he's see-through.
Maybe. Stan annoys MJ as he steps up to the tee. He's like giving him like words of encouragement. And all I thought of this scene is, I fucking hate golf. I think it's so boring.
Yeah.
MJ hits a decent shot, but it's not as good as what Larry and Bill have done. It's kind of slightly swerving. And as it hits the green, it keeps moving, and we cut to underneath, and you see Bugs' hand with a magnet. I don't know how this ball's magnetic, but, cartoon rules don't apply. And it, pulls his ball around and around and around and into the hole, and he gets a hole in one.
There's some weird, line read from Bill Murray when the ball's, being dragged. He goes, "It is alive."
Apparently that's a reference to something else that he's done, and I didn't note it down because I didn't know what it was.
I can't tell you.
If you do know the reference, either jot it down if you're watching it on YouTube, or just enjoy it for yourselves. I don't know.
Just hide it from us.
Mike goes to retrieve his ball, and Stan's like, I'll take a picture. Your first hole in one. And as he reaches down, a fucking lasso comes out and pulls him into the hole. And then Bill looks at Stan's camera. He's like, what camera is that? He's like, it's just a regular one. He points it at Bill, and Bill's like, don't point that at me. So a good little moment. MJ crashes down in Toonland and meets Bugs Bunny. And he's like, you're not real, you're a cartoon. And Bugs lays one massive, unconsensual smacker on his lips to prove that he is real. So that's how you prove that you're real and not a cartoon, apparently.
Just smooch.
All the tunes get excited. They all come in. And they're like, Air Jordan. Tweety does his famous lines. Like, I did saw Michael Jordan. And then we get Dr. Daffy fucking Duck.
I literally wrote Dr. Daffy.
So did I. Comes along, he puts MJ in more like a dentist chair, launches him up in the air, and then he's like, oh, too high. And then MJ looks down, like, don't you dare. And then he like, pulls the chair back, and it fucking drops and crashes into the floor.
I'm going to say, for like a guy who just got dragged into a Looney Tunes world, he's very relaxed.
I think he thinks he's got a concussion or something. They definitely like looks through MJ's head with like a monocular type thing. Checks his temperature. He's got an empty head and a temperature, and he's like, yeah, he's fine. He's in like an A-OK stab. Bugs explains their situation. They need him to play basketball so they don't get enslaved. And MJ goes, well, I'm a baseball player now. And Bugs goes, right, and I'm a Shakespearean actor. We cut back to the golf course, and Stan's worried, and he's talking down the hole. As he does that, Bill and Larry Bird are just driving off in the golf cart, still talking about the NBA being in need of players. So they're not worried about Michael at all, apparently.
No.
The Tunes take MJ to their practice court, and it's a fucking mess. And what does Daffy suggest to fix it up, Timothy?
Spit shine.
Spit shine. And they all start just spitting on the floor. It's fucking gross, even for cartoons.
That's disgusting.
And then thankfully we actually have someone helpful. Taz comes in.
Yeah.
And he's got like 4 mops in his hands. And he just starts spinning. And he basically makes it pristine. And he ends with the line, Lemony Fresh. And my notes here, and you and maybe 6 other wrestling fans will get this, I've just written Lemony Fresh Jones.
But I do digress. Have you watched... did you ever watch Tasmania?
Come to Tasmania.
Yes.
All of Taz's relatives can actually speak. He's just apparently an idiot.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, you'd expect... I think before you met all his relatives, it feels like they were... You think all the Tasmanian devils were like him? But no, they're all
just Taz.
They're all like bugs. Did you ever play the Taz Mega Drive game?
No.
It was a side-scroller. It was pretty good, pretty fun. A lot of those Looney Tunes games are pretty fun. There's a couple of them. There's one with the Tiny Toons, and there is one for this, which we'll talk about later.
I remember playing a Bugs Bunny one on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I think I played that one. I played a lot of the Mega Drive era ones. I only played one PS1 one, which was the Space Jam game, which I'll get into later on. The gym where they practice is actually apparently called the Leon Schlesinger Gym, which is named after the man who produced the original Looney Tunes cartoons and the Merry Melodies cartoons.
Okay.
When they all start doing their thing, Michael's like, you guys are crazy. And he's like, correction, we're Looney. And trademarks of Warner Brothers Studios. And Daffy's got the big WB on his arse and he kisses it.
Yes.
The monstars arrive and they call MJ a wussy man because he doesn't play basketball anymore. And then they call him a chicken. Well, I don't know why this is one of my favourite lines because it's so stupid. But Foghorn Leghorn walks in the background and he goes, hey, I resemble that remark. One of the monsters crushes Michael into the shape of a ball. And they start passing him around.
That CGI is horrifying.
Oh, it's fucking scary, isn't it? It's scarier than anything like early Doctor Who tried or classic Doctor Who tried. They dunk him, and he kind of... Once he gets dunked, he kind of rolls back out into his original form. And the thing that annoys him most is they call him Baldy.
Yeah.
Tweety's like, Michael's the GOAT. What are you talking about? He doesn't say that. He's like, He does say the greatest of all time, I think, though. So he does call him the GOAT, really. And then one of the monsters flicks little Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
And MJ goes and checks on Tweety. And he's like, you're not scared of them, are you, Mr. Jordan? And he's like, you know what? I'm in. Let's play some fucking basketball.
Again, not that exact verbiage.
Hey, my lines are better. We cut to Charles Barkley, and post losing his talent, he looks all miserable, Tim, and he's walking through the streets. This really reminds me of the scene in Mighty Ducks 2 where they're skating and they see the kids playing street hockey. But Charles sees a bunch of girls playing basketball. and they fucking school him. And I honestly think they made them girls to make even more of a point.
Yeah.
Because today, you made this film, there would have been a mixed group of boys, girls, and everyone in between having a good old game of basketball. But they, like, the lead girl or the lead person says, "Hey girls, it's Charles Barkley." And I feel like they're trying to make a point here that, for me, is the only thing in this movie that really misses the mark for a modern audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see the pros, the NBA pros, and they're at the hospital, all of them apart from Charles.
Yeah.
And they're walking through, I don't know why I love this joke. They're all walking through the hospital corridor, and then you've got Muggsy at the front with the doctor, and then the three tall guys at the back, and they all smash their heads on the side.
Yeah.
Or a door frame or something.
It's a door frame, yeah.
We see some therapy going on. And the best line in the therapy is the doctor going, "Is there any other areas you find you can't perform?" And he's like, "No!"
No. And then Charles is in church praying.
Yeah.
I think it just reminds me of Spider-Man 3, like what do you to kill Peter Parker?
Yeah. I haven't watched that movie in ages. I do love those movies. The Sam Raimi ones. I think Spider-Man 3 has more of a charm than people let it on for.
Oh, it's the worst of the Spider-Man trilogies, but it's still a really good movie.
I think it's just got too much going on.
Yeah.
If you stripped out one of the three fucking bad guys, you'd have a lot better time.
Well, I mean, Sam Raimi didn't want to do Venom. That was a studio mandate.
Yeah. Venom is a very popular character.
Yeah.
We cut to Stan digging still at the golf course, trying to find MJ, and he's in this like massive fucking divot now. We cut to a tunes practice, and they're all suitably loony. Yosemite Sam is shooting, hits Daffy in the arse. Roadrunner runs off with the ball, breaks through the wall, and then as Wiley goes to chase him, it turns out the wall is just a pulled-down picture.
It's fake, yeah.
Standard Roadrunner and Wiley stuff. And this is where we get the debut of one Lola Bunny. Now, Fur Affinity's hard drives crashed. And, yeah, so they make her needlessly sexy, right? She kind of saunters in, the music's fucking saxophones, and honestly...
It's immediately hard.
Yeah. There's actually, what's really funny is there's a joke in a minute where Bugs literally goes stiff. His whole body goes hard, and it's clearly a reference.
So,
Go on, sorry.
My thing about Lola, she's not a good character in this, but in the Looney Tunes show that came out 2010s, they made her an amazing character.
See, I've not watched that, but what I have watched, and what I think she is much better in, and this is the only thing that's better about it, is the second Space Jam movie.
Yeah.
She's a much more well-rounded, developed character. She wears the same uniform as all the guy characters. And she does, like later on, her uniform, she's got like the shortest shorts and like a crop top. And it's needlessly sexy for a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like, at least Jessica Rabbit, when they did that, there was a point to it.
Yes.
Like, she was meant to be a femme fatale. Lola's just meant to be a good basketball player.
Yeah, exactly. But like in the Looney Tunes show, they make her a stalker. Like she becomes obsessive with Bugs.
That feels out of character after meeting her here.
And there's even like an episode where she's teaching like Daffy what to write to get a girlfriend. He reads back what she told him to say, and then she falls in love with Daffy. Becomes obsessed with him.
Oh, see, that feels like really shallow female writing.
Oh no, it's all
written
like,
by a man.
Oh no, it's like, or it has well-rounded like female characters in it because it's like does like a suburban show rather than like individual clips.
I'll have to check it out. You have to send me a link.
All right, I will. I really recommend that version.
Bugs challenges Lola to a game of one-on-one and then calls her dull, and she fucking hates that. She beats him, smashes him to pieces, and then that's where Bugs gets hard. He goes to kiss her and she just walks off, and his whole body goes stiff. Michael realises he needs some sneakers, and none of them wear shoes apart from Yosemite Sam, who has tiny, tiny feet.
Yeah.
And he also wants his college shorts that he wore for every game underneath his Bulls uniform, and apparently he definitely washed them. The Toons questioned that, but he definitely washed them.
It's like Daryl from the first season of Tough Enough. He has those smelly shorts.
Oh, yeah. That sounds... Like, RJ Singh said it recently on Twitter, like, you need to, if you're a wrestler and you're in close contact or any close contact sport, wash your gear. Bugs and Daffy burrow to MJ's, but Daffy is sure it's one way, Bugs goes the other, and Daffy burrows his way into Charles's kennel, and he gets fucking roughed up.
Not Charles Barkley, Charles the dog.
Who is named after Charles Barkley, apparently.
According to stress that.
According to an IMDb thing I read, he's named after Charles Barkley.
To be really concerned to see Charles Barkley in a doghouse.
That would be. Daffy says... Oh, so there's a bit here, right? So this is where I was going to talk about it. I had the Space Jam game on the PS1. Yeah. It was very basic. It was, you could only be the Monstars or the Cheering Squad.
Oh, gonna be Michael?
Yeah, he was on the Cheering Squad. It was only 3-on-3 games. You could pick from each of the teams who you wanted to have. Michael was the only one with perfect stats, obviously. It was a clone, apparently, of a game called NBA Street.
I would believe that, yeah.
Yeah, but there's some mini games in it. And a lot of those mini games you're playing as Daffy, obviously being one of the bigger characters. And all of the lines in this entire scene in Michael's house were used in this game. So some of these lines are like drilled into my head, where he says, like, yes, fearless leader. And I knew that. They were in this game on repeat. And I've got a few more noted down. Bugs and Daffy accidentally wake up MJ's daughter as they're walking past her room talking about how they got no money from merch.
Yeah.
They find the trophy room. For some reason, the sneakers are like spread apart and one's on top of the fireplace. Then they go looking for the shorts and only find the dog, who has the shorts for some reason. The dog looks like he's about to attack, and the kids show up and save the day. And they hand the shorts back to Bugs, and they go, here you go, Bugs. But
they're really chill about this.
Yeah.
They're really chill.
About meeting a cartoon character and saying, oh, your dad's playing basketball with us. And the other two lines that are in that game is Daffy going, bad dog, and yes, Sahid, whatever that means. The NBA players go to a psychic. This scene is so funny. As someone who, like, really doesn't believe in psychics or anything like that, this scene still made me laugh because it pastiches that and it's actually what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
So she gets it exactly right. She's like, aliens stole your talent. They wanted to play a basketball game against Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And they're like,
what? No.
Let's get out of here. Fucking hell. Stan now has dug a massive crater. It looks like a crash site.
Yes.
And as he's digging, he sees Bugs and Daffy walk past. And this bit's brilliant. Daffy's like, I've got a suggestion for a team name. What does he suggest him?
The Ducks.
And Bugs says, what kind of Mickey Mouse organisation would name their team the Ducks? Which is a great little gag. But it's actually deeper than you think. So, back in the 80s, Disney Studios asked Warner Brothers if they could use some of the Looney Tunes characters for Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers obliged, and they said that they thought the deal would be reciprocal. They had like a handshake agreement. And then when Disney went under new top-level management, they come back and asked if they could use Mickey in Space Jam.
Oh, wow.
Now, I think they wanted him to be the ref or something. And Disney were just like, no.
Bastards.
Yeah, they completely reneged on the agreement because it wasn't them who had the handshake deal with it. It was the previous managers. So they were taking a dig at Disney for that.
Yeah.
We see the Looney Tunes working out to a Richard Simmons workout video.
Yeah.
As MJ comes in his basketball gear and he shows off his skills. And who shows up in the gym?
Stan.
Stan has found his way into Toonland. And he wants MJ to come back and play basketball. And he's like, I can't. I've got to help my friends. And Stan says, you know your friends are cartoon characters, right? He's like, yep. We cut to the forum in Inglewood, California, and it's being fumigated. And the NBA have decided to suspend all games until they can guarantee the safety of the players. And we cut to the big game. It's here. And we get the reveal of the uniform, and we get this logo. I'm wearing my Toon Squad t-shirt.
Squad.
For those who are listening to this and not watching it, I am wearing my Toon Squad t-shirt. And the only one not wearing it is Daffy, because for some reason he's wearing a rubber ring and some fucking armour.
It's the only one taking this seriously.
We get Danny DeVito back. And we cut to two mice, and the commentator is asleep. So these two mice take over, and they speak really quietly and high-pitched. And then when they speak into the mic, they're like, welcome to the game.
So I remember these mice from, like, an old Looney Tunes cartoon. I don't remember their names, but because I just remember them always going, yeah, sure.
Are they from New York?
Yeah.
The mice introduce... It's funny, because there's two of the mice, actually, but I think, as far as I can remember, there is only one commentator.
Yeah, only one announces, because the other one's just eating cheese.
Yeah. They introduce the tunes. Taz is introduced as the Wonder from Down Under.
Oh.
That's for you, Matt. Lola fucking saunters in and gets wolf whistled at, wearing her short shorts. Daffy comes out and he's like, woo! And all the crowd are just fucking silent.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, let's all laugh at the duck. Bugs gets announced as the co-captain. Something that he annoyed me even as a kid. He burrows in and destroys half of the fucking court.
Yeah.
Then he's also magically back together. And then we get MJ announced. He is the player coach. His Royal Airness, Michael Jordan, and he comes out. So y'all ready for this?
Dun, 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 dun.
The boss, Swackhammer, is confused about who Michael is. He's like, is he a Looney Tune?
Yes.
The monstars arrive. MJ stares them down like a fucking champion. And they scare Taz, though. And this is one of the weird jokes. I'm like, I don't like that joke. Because of all of the tunes that would be scared of the monstars, it would be fucking Taz.
No.
Taz doesn't know how to be scared. Taz would have been in their faces next to Michael.
Yeah.
With snot hanging down. The fucking... If it was like... I know we get another joke. We've had a joke about Porky weeing himself already at this point. Sorry, when the monsters first changed, Porky says he wets himself. But like Elmer Fudd or anyone could have been scared of them. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me that it's Taz.
No, I think he's too stupid to be scared.
Taz is the Charlie of Looney Tunes.
The wild card, bitches.
He is the wild card. So Marvin the Martian is our ref, and there's a bit of it's more of a fan theory than a fact. People say that Marvin's the ref because he's a Looney Tune and he's an alien.
That won't make sense. It'd be the only impartial one.
Yeah. They do the tip-off and MJ wins it over a monster that's like 2 foot taller than him. But, you know, MJ's got skills.
He's got a vertical leap.
Yeah, he does. He's got that sweet vertical leap. The monsters start rough and they get the early advantage. MJ passes to Daffy, and as the monsters are coming at him, he throws it at the old lady character. She's not even on the court. She's on the bench. And they fucking bundle her.
and Daffy goes, she was wide open.
The monsters start dunking. MJ dunks back. But it's still not going well for the tunes. Only thing that's good is obviously Michael, but the monsters are still dominating. Sylvester goes to eat Tweety. But then MJ passes the ball right into his stomach and he spits it back out. Like, bad old putty tat. The green monster can breathe fire, apparently. And cooks Foghorn Leghorn. When they're at the bench, obviously MJ's the player coach and he's picking who's coming out next. And he picks a little mouse over Stan. And then he gets immediately just crushed by the ball.
Yeah.
We get some skill from Lola, though. The orange monster calls Doll, and she fucking dunks on his ass. She like runs up his face and dunks on him. The monsters keep dunking. This is another thing that bothers me. Like, I do like basketball, I know the rules, but they all just constantly dunk, and I get it. Dunks look cool.
Yeah.
But actually, shooting from outside the zone is a 3-pointer.
Yeah, exactly.
the monsters keep dunking, and then the counter starts changing. It rolls and rolls and rolls, and it reads kind of one-sided, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Marvin fires his gun for the halftime, and actually it goes through Sylvester, and Tweety calls him Holy Putty Cat. And we are at the halftime of the game. Swackhammer comes in the dressing room, and he's telling the monsters that they're doing well, whatever, but they smell Stan, and he's spying from inside one of the lockers. We cut to the tune locker room, and MJ's giving a tune talk. None of them are fucking feeling it.
No.
Stan comes in, and he's almost as extra crispy as Foghorn Leghorn was earlier. Then we see Bugs getting some water out of the tap and putting a label on it. And what does he call it, Tim?
Is it like Michael Jackson's special drink? Michael Jordan's special drink?
Definitely not Michael Jackson. Fucking hell. The wrong MJ, the inferior MJ. It's Michael's secret stuff. And they're all kind of like asleep listening to Michael. And Bugs is like, yeah, great speech, boss, but why don't you give me your secret stuff? And he drinks it and he gets like fucking hench.
Yeah.
And this is the second... I didn't say it earlier, but the Monstars getting the power feels like the first allusion to steroids. And this one feels like the second one.
Yeah, but this one, like, Bugs immediately like to Michael, play along, because it's a placebo.
It's
just to
just
make them
water.
feel better.
Yeah, so it's just water. And the tunes were like, give it here, give it here. And they all start feeling it. They're like, yeah, let's go. Stan is left last to get somebody can't get any out of it. Poor Stan.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel... That's when I first start to feel sorry for Stan. It's like, oh, he wants to try the secret stuff. The second half starts, and Bugs immediately gets a moped.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he's also dressed up as like a postal worker. He snatches the ball and scores. Wiley sets up a bunch of TNT on the net, blowing up the monster as he comes in for it. Then we get a great little reference, a movie reference from Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd. What do they do to him?
It's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, they're in their black suits with their glasses, and we get the Pulp Fiction music. They're down, and then they both shoot the monster's teeth out.
Yeah.
We get some more dunking from MJ. Sylvester uses a fishing line to steal the shorts off of the orange guy. Taz gets a dunk. Porky does too, but he's stacked on top of the rest of the team. We get Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, they use him as a weapon.
Yeah, the character of Pepe Le Pew is so fucking on the nose too much. Like, he's obviously like meant to be a French stereotype. He smells and he's a sex pest. Which is like, I feel, do they still make cartoons with Pepe Le Pew? Because
I think if he's just like featured in stuff now, but in passing, I don't think he has a dedicated episode to him.
Yeah, because that would be considered like xenophobic or racist now, because he's...
And also very rapey.
Oh yeah, he's so rapey. He's like that scene in The Mask as well. Well, he does...
What?
The Mask is doing a Pepe Le Pew impression, isn't he, essentially?
Well, I was going to say he's pretty much just like James Bond.
Yes.
Like
yeah,
five no's and a yes means yes.
Yeah, fucking James Bond. The tunes have nearly caught up. Daffy paints one of their trunks with red, and then we get a Bull character who is... I have seen it in Looney Tunes before, but he sees the red on the arse of this monster, and he obviously goes mental. I was like, why did they not put him on the team? He like runs in, sends the monster launching into the air.
Because he's a side character, Bobby. He's a side character.
But bro's hench, get him on the team.
The Bull doesn't have a name. He isn't a character.
Tweety Pie, the tiny little budgie, does some karate and beats up like 3 of the members of the Monstars.
Goes fucking feral on them.
Swackhammer wants MJ. He does. So I don't know what point in the game this is, but he comes up to MJ. He's like, "Who are you?"
They call a timeout.
Oh yeah, they call a timeout. That's it. The Monstars.
Yeah.
MJ doesn't back down though, and in fact he ups the stakes. He says not only when they win are they not being taken, but he wants the team, the NBA guys, to get their talent back. But if the Tunes lose, Michael has to go to Moron Mountain and be a new attraction. Which, how are the aliens going to know who Michael Jordan is, for one thing? 2, apparently he'll be doing signings all day and then losing in one-on-one games with customers all evening because he's like chained up.
Yeah.
This is where the Monstars start hitting hard and cheating. Although, what's really funny is we're supposed to think, oh, they're cheating after all the stuff the Toons just did.
Look, it's fine when the faces cheat, but when the heels cheat, then we have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. One, like, backhands MJ.
Yeah.
One plays golf with Tweety and Sylvester. Daffy gets crushed, and this is a line that sticks with me as well. Did you note this one down after he gets crushed?
No.
So Daffy gets crushed by the big orange guy, and then he's like, the monster stands up, and he's like, Daffy's like crawling around him, being like, "But mommy, I don't want to go to school today. I want to stay home and bake cookies with you." Bug saves Lola from a squishing, and she gives him a kiss. MJ calls a timeout. The tunes look like a fucking hospital line. Like Taz is getting a defibrillator. Tweety is in an iron lung.
Yeah.
And this is where MJ tells them that the special stuff was actually just water. They still want more anyway.
Yeah.
Stan finally gets put into the team because he's like the last resort. His uniform is already filthy, which is really funny.
I know. He does not take care of it.
He gets dogpiled by all 5 of the monstars, but the ball pops out, and I have to relook at this, but technically it's from outside the free throw line, so he should get 3 points.
Yeah.
But I think he only gets registered as 2 on the thing.
It's Looney rules.
Looney rules, exactly. The paramedics come in, and Stan is like big and flat, and they reinflate him. He flies around the court, and it's just an elaborate fart joke.
Yeah.
As he gets let down, it's like, and everyone's like, ugh. MJ asks how Stan, because obviously Stan's a regular human, how he was able to do that. And Bugs grabs Daffy and wrings his neck out and his entire body. And Daffy explains that it's Looney Tunes land, so anything's possible. And Michael goes, "Oh, you tell me now with 10 seconds left to go on the clock." Marvin comes up and tells MJ that actually, if they don't get a 5th player, because everyone else is injured, they'll need to forfeit. And Bill Murray comes in, and there's a really great line from Swaghammer.
I got to note it down.
Go on.
I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture.
Fellow Ghostbuster and what your favourite show, Saturday Night Live, alums.
Yeah.
MJ starts to make a plan, but Bill takes over. Bill Murray takes over. So sorry, that's as Bill Murray comes out. He says, "I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture." And MJ stops him, was like, "Just get the ball to me. That's the play. We only need 2 points to win. We've got 10 seconds on the clock." Daffy asks how Murray got into Toonland, and he's like, "I got my friend's the producer, and he's actually real life friends with Ivan Reitman."
Yeah.
Bill gives, and apparently that's how he got in the movie as well. So he said he enjoyed doing Who Framed Roger Rabbit so much he wanted to do another mixture of real life and cartoon film, and that's how he literally got this bit part.
Oh, nice.
Bill gives Daffy a little plan. He like whispers in his ear. It's just like, "See that chunky guy over there?" And we cut back, and Daffy's got an American football helmet on, and he fucking tackles him in the gut. They get the ball to MJ, and he jumps off the back of the orange monster, and Bill's like, "Mike, I'm open." And then Mike's like leaping through the air, like, and Bill goes, "Never mind."
Yeah.
All of the monsters grab MJ by the ankles, and he gets some fucking serious air. And as he's going, his arm stretches like Looney Tunes style, becomes like 4 times its length. And again, he does another dunk, and it gives the Tunes the win, like just on the buzzer.
Yeah. 78-77.
MJ talks to Bill. He's like, "Maybe you could play in the NBA." And Bill says, "I'm going to retire undefeated and I'm going to go and ice down my knees." Swackhammer calls the monsters losers and choke artists, and then MJ points out, goes, "You don't have to take this from them anymore, right?" And it's like, "But he's bigger than we used to be." And they fucking put him in this tiny rocket, like force him into it, and then launch him back to Moron. No, they don't launch him back to Moron. They launch him to the moon.
Yeah.
MJ takes all the talent back for the monsters, puts it back in the ball. They all go small again and ask Bugs if they can stay. And there's a really cute moment where Bugs is like, "I don't know if you're loony enough." And we get like a curtain coming in and it goes away. And they're all dressed up as the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, they cosplay the Looney Tunes.
And they start doing the little theme. They're like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do. I was like, "Oh, that's adorable." Stan comes to tell MJ that he's actually got a real-life baseball game in 5 minutes as well. I mean, he must be fucking knackered. MJ leaves and he tells Bugs to stay out of trouble. And Bugs, to stay out of trouble, lays one on Lola Bunny. But this time she loves it.
Yeah, she goes, woohoo, woohoo.
We cut to the stadium, the baseball stadium, and the baseball fans are like, "We won, Michael." And his wife's like, "Where is your father?" And the kid's like, "He's in his other game." And she's like, "What?"
Like nothing.
The nerd luck ship drops MJ back at the game, and we hear fucking redacted again.
I get no one is shocked that there's an alien spaceship.
I don't know, it's America, man. You think you've seen the stuff they do in the halftime games of the NBA. They probably just think it's a stunt.
That's true.
MJ returns the talent to the NBA players, but they're all scared of the glowy basketball. And at this moment, I realised how funny is the difference between Muggsy and the rest of the players.
Yeah, the height different.
There's 2 foot. MJ goes to leave, and they're like, "Do you want to play some 3-on-3?" He's like, "Nah, you're good." They're like, "Oh, you don't have it no more." And Stan's like, "Oh, they don't think you have it anymore." And then we cut to MJ returning to the Chicago Bulls. Bill is in the audience, and he's upset, going, "It could have been me."
Yes.
So, Michael Jordan, traditionally, wears the number 23.
23, yes.
But in this return scene, he's wearing the number 45. Now, in real life, this whole thing kind of happened, apart from their basketball game with the Looney Tunes. MJ did retire from basketball.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
The Chicago Bulls retired the number 23 jersey. He went and played baseball for the Barons. Then he went back to basketball, but they're like, "Well, we've retired your jersey number." So now you have to be number 45. The whole Bill Murray saying he could be in the NBA thing is also a reference. Bill Murray was in some commercials in the 90s where he tries and fails to become an NBA player. So there's another little reference to the real life for you. I've got some more little tidbits about the movie. Would you like to hear some, Tim?
Yeah, go ahead.
The movie grossed $250 million worldwide.
Wow.
On an $80 million budget.
Okay.
Warner Brothers considered this not as successful as they wanted.
From a studio point of view, I can see why. Because they're thinking they're going to get a Looney Tunes audience and an NBA audience. Yeah. And when studios look at audiences like that, they never really go, "Oh, there might be slight overlap."
Cool. Yeah, it's the highest grossing Looney Tunes film of all time, though.
Bullshit. Back in Action should be highest.
That piece of trash. It's also the highest grossing basketball movie of all time.
I mean, yeah, I can believe that.
The US version of the VHS, if you got the original run, came with a coin, special collector's coin, that had the Monstars logo on one side and the Toon Squad logo on the other. Now, I think we got this here, but not in the videos. I think it came in McDonald's or something like that. Because I'm sure I had this. I read it and went, I had that. I'm sure I had that as a kid. I had a Monstars Toon Squad coin. I'm sure I did.
I would believe that would be a McDonald's toy here.
The 5 stars who had their talent stolen: Charles Barkley, Larry Johnson, Tyrone Bogues, Muggsy, Patrick Ewing, and Sean Bradley. None of them have ever won the NBA championship. Due to, at the time, Michael Jordan and the Bulls were running fucking wild. In the same way, we mentioned it before, didn't we, in another episode? At the same time this was happening, Manchester United were running wild in the UK, playing football. The Bulls won in 91, 93, 96 and 98.
Yeah.
Allowing very few other teams to win in those other gaps. And in fact, the biggest gap, 93 to 96, that was when Michael retired.
Yeah.
And it was actually, this film was stopped pre-production when Michael retired. They were like, "Oh, well, is there any point doing this?" Because he's not a basketball player anymore, he's a baseball player. And then when he come back, that's when they put it back into production. And that is all of my notes on the Space Jam. Tim, I know you enjoyed the movie. But let's talk about what you enjoyed about the movie. Come on.
I I think it's just like it's well, of course it's a one of a kind movie because obviously Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it's just fun. I think that's just the best way to put it. It's Looney Tunes reacting to the real world stuff and big pop culture icons in two different ways, interacting and just like being just insanely wacky. I think, yeah, there's nothing else like it. Even its own sequel had to change it up because they knew they couldn't fully replicate what the original Space Jam is.
Agreed. Like you said, in the 90s, Michael Jordan and the Bulls were the biggest thing in American sports.
Like, they were basketball.
Yeah, for sure. And the Looney Tunes, now, to claim the Looney Tunes are the biggest thing in cartoons, probably not. But they're in the top 5, right?
Yeah.
You know, you've got your Disney, you've got your Mickey Mouse. In the 90s, remember, you also had things like Pokemon and... Well, the Pokemon was a tad later than this. Simpsons. But they are definitely... And they've been around for a long time. They've got a history. So, you know, 1996 comes around and you drop a film with these two massive franchises, essentially, in it. At this time, this is when Michael... And it still is, I think. Jordan is, like, the biggest and most lucrative sports apparel franchise of all time.
Yeah, Jordans, like, still sell.
I've got, like, 6 pairs of them.
Exactly. You're proof of this.
Look, Jordans. I've got loads of Jordans.
All because he watched Space Jam.
I mean, there's a lot of that in it, yeah. Yeah, and the Ducks, because I love the Ducks, you know. I'm very affected by the media I take in, Tim. Before we move on and talk about all our socials, we've got a couple of little announcements to make. Now, as Tim alluded to in our last episode, you know, I have a small child now, and I don't have as, you know, much time on my hands. I need to make sure that the time I do use counts. And by that, I mean, when my son is old enough to listen or watch these, that the content we do is fucking excellent. So, we're changing it up. We're doing 2 new things, Tim. You know this, I know this. Let's tell everyone else. We are no longer going to be doing Cult Classic Society.
Yeah.
In its current guise. We are probably going to come to you once every month, 6 weeks. There'll be no regular schedule for regular Cult Classic Society episodes anymore. But we're also going to change up the style of the episodes. We're not going to go point for point on what we watch anymore. We're going to try our best to watch full series of movies, and break down the plots and the Easter eggs and the trivia in
more
kind
of an overview rather than a breakdown on every little thing, because one, that's just very tiring for you just to hear us detail plot points over and over, and then it's go, oh, but that's what we like, this plot point, this plot point. We'd rather just like talk about everything as a whole, but it also allows us to do more behind the scenes information, way more research into everything than even like just more stuff about like what was released alongside it, like tie-ins for like movies, like with games or even novelizations. It just allows us to do more with what we want to talk about.
Thank you, Tim. That was very succinct. And again, it allows us to probably branch out into things we've threatened to do before, like books, like more video games. We have more time, we can play more and read more. And yeah, we'll bring you a more overview. Now, not everyone is a neurotic nerd like us who wants every plot point spoken about. And it's taken us 50-odd episodes to understand that, Tim. But that's fine. We
apologise.
I don't apologise for anything. I enjoyed doing the 50 episodes, or the 49 with this episode we've done. They will always be available. We're not going to take them down. They're going to be on the YouTube. They're going to be on the Spotify. We're going to call that Run 1 of Cult Classic Society. Run 2 will be starting, and we're doing less frequent episodes, but with more detail coming up. And there is also something else we're going to do. You know, you're not going to have to wait 6 weeks to hear from us, though, because we're going to do a new feature, a new show, where we're going to come to you every couple of weeks. Tim, I hear you like Doctor Who.
Lies. We have when have I ever said, Bobby, I like Doctor Who?
All the time, you big fucking nerd. So, starting with our next episode. So episode 50 of Cult Classic Society is going to be about, Tim, what is it going to be about?
It's going to be about the Doctor Who 1996 TV movie.
Starring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. So that is it. In 2 weeks, we are going to bring you that episode. That will be Cult Classic Society, but it also acts as our pilot / episode 0 of our new show, Timey Wimey Rewind, Tim.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. Yes, every 2 weeks we are going to be covering Doctor Who, mainly New Who. So we start with the 96 movie, just to get everyone up to speed and everything. Then 2 weeks after that, we're going straight into the Eccleston era.
We're going to start with Rose, and that'll be official episode 1 of Timey Wimey Rewind, episode 1 in 2005 of the New Who thing. If we ever get to the end of New Who, Tim, we probably will move on to the classic stuff. But for now,
yeah,
get your BBC iPlayers ready. Go find the Whoniverse, and we're going to talk about some fucking Doctor Who. There is one more note. Along with the less frequent episodes for Cult Classic Society, we're going to change up the look for the YouTube. We're also going to change up the theme song, and I really want to thank my friend John Turnham, who is the drummer for Snish, who let us use How Is Your Friend. It's a banging song. I still suggest you all go and listen to some Snish stuff on Spotify. They're not even a band anymore, but what they did was really cool. They were a little local band where I grew up, and they just did some really cool stuff, and I'd suggest you go check it out.
Yep, because I bet myself.
Tim, where can we find you on the old socials?
You can find me at the Tim Martini on all socials, be it Instagram, be it Twitter, be it TikTok, hell, even Letterboxd. See what I'm watching, and get mad at my hot takes. Bobby, where can they find you?
By hot takes, he means he's stuck up opinions on things. Tim is essentially an internet troll, like hiding behind the idea that he's a critic.
I am a critic because I have a platform there.
And you're a troll, come on, admit it.
No, I just literally think some things aren't as good as everyone says. Like, I thought Deadpool and Wolverine was fine.
Oh, I thought it was very good. But you can find me, bdavies_creative, on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok if I bothered to get that running again. And you can follow us, CC Society, at CC Society Pod, or search Cult Classic Society on all the socials. You can email us at cultclassicsociety@gmail.com. I always go to put at the beginning, but it sounds weird to say at the thing then at the Gmail.
Yeah.
You know what a fucking email is. Why am I explaining an email, Tim?
No, we have Gen Zers on here. They don't know how to send an email.
Yeah, some boomers, I'm sure. Actually, if you look at our stats, there are a few boomers who listen, so welcome! We hope you're doing okay.
No.
You need...
high pitch. They're used to the high pitch.
Do you need another blanket there, Sonny?
And now they're not going to listen to us ever again.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks. The structure of the episode will be a bit different. We're coming at you with some new sections and some new stuff. We're going to try to elaborate more on the backstage. As Tim said, Doctor Who's great, because especially the early stuff has got Doctor Who Confidential and books, and we're going to talk about lots of stuff around each episode and each Doctor and each companion, and I'm actually really looking forward to it, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, any chance to watch and then talk about Doctor Who it's an opportunity I'm always going to take, so...
Good. So we'll see you for what is episode 50, the last of the original run of Cult Classic Society, and the first of Timey Wimey Rewind. There may be 2 versions of this to go out, one with the Cult Classic Society vintage stuff, just for the final feel.
So, Bobby, what you could say is the show is regenerating into a new form.
Oh, Tim. Maybe we'll get a golden sheen and regenerate it as we start it.
So, Bobby, have you got an outro you want to do for us?
Hey, you're not supposed to call on my silly outros. You're supposed to be like, I'm Tim Martini.
Oh,
That's your voice, by the way.
I'm Tim Martin. And Bobby?
That's all, folks.
Say hi to the magpie. You're burying your sins. The truth will come out as soon as he finds you. Salute your friend lucky. He'll shatter your dreams. Everything's better. That's what courtesy brings. Everything's better. I told you before. Salute you, I see you, I take you, I watch you. Salute you, I see you, how is your friend? Just one, unlucky for some, but two is generally better. Just when you thought your luck was in, say never.